The Spanish-Portuguese War was fought between 1776 to 1777 over the border between Spanish and Portuguese South America. Portuguese attack. In the previous Spanish-Portuguese War, 1761 to 1763, Spain had conquered the Colonia del Sacramento, Santa Tecla, San Miguel, Santa Teresa and Rio Grande de São Pedro in the first Civelos expedition. Colonia del Sacramento was returned to Portugal in the Treaty of Paris, but Santa Tecla, San Miguel, Santa Teresa and Rio Grande de São Pedro remained in Spanish hands. The Portuguese started assembling troops and harassing the Spanish in 1767. Over the years the Portuguese built up an army of 6,000 men, considerably more than the 1,450 Spanish troops in the area. The matter escalated in February 1776 when two Portuguese fleets under Robert McDougall and George Hardcastle landed troops near the fortress of Rio Grande de São Pedro, and started shelling the Spanish fort. A Spanish fleet under Francisco Javier Morales drove off the Portuguese fleet after a 3-hour battle where the Spanish fleet suffered 16 killed and 24 wounded, while the Portuguese lost 2 vessels. Portuguese land forces pushed forward and the Spanish commander Juan José de Vetis y Salcedo was forced to withdraw and give up the entire Rio Grande area. Spanish response. The response of the Spanish King Charles III of Spain was swift. There was little fear that Portugal's old ally Great Britain would come to their aid, as it was fully occupied by the American Revolutionary War. King Charles III promoted Governor Pedro Antonio de Civelos to Viceroy of the Rio de la Plata and gave him the leadership of the expedition. Civelos had already proven his ability in the first Civelos expedition, when he had conquered Colonia del Sacramento and had marched deep into Portuguese territory. Civelos was in Spain and organized personally the expedition from Cadiz. He had 9,000 men, and a fleet of 6 warships, 6 frigates, a number of smaller ships and 100 transport ships at his disposal. The commander of the fleet was Francisco Javier Everardo Tilly y Garcia de Paredes Marquez de Casatilly. The fleet left Cadiz on November 20 and arrived in South America on the 18th of February 1777, capturing several Portuguese ships on the way. They encountered the Portuguese fleet of Robert McDougall, which was much smaller and managed to escape. Civelos decided to attack the island of Santa Catarina on the 23rd of February. When the Portuguese saw the formidable Spanish fleet disembark the troops, the garrison fled to the mainland without firing a shot. On the 20th of March, Civelos sailed towards his second target, Rio Grande de São Pedro, but the fleet was dispersed by a storm and had to return to Montevideo. There he split up his forces. He sailed himself with all the artillery to Colonia de Sacramento, where he started the siege on the 23rd of May. The city capitulated on the 3rd of June. The rest of the fleet was sent to check the fleet of McDougall, which was still a menace to be counted with. In fact, this fleet surprised and captured the lone San Agustin, and renamed the ship Santo Agostinho. The new captain, who also played an important role in capturing the ship, was an Englishman in Portuguese service, Arthur Phillip, who later founded the city of Sydney. After the capture of Sacramento, Civelos marched his troops towards Rio Grande de São Pedro, joined forces with the troops of Juan José Vertes which were concentrated in Santa Teresa. Then he was ordered to stop his advance, as peace negotiations were started. Peace. On the 24th of February 1777, King Joseph I of Portugal died and his daughter and successor Maria I of Portugal Portugal concluded on October 1 the First Treaty of San Ildefonso with Spain. Spain returned the island of Santa Catarina to Portugal and recognized Rio Grande do São Pedro as Portuguese territory, but kept Colonia del Sacramento, Banda Oriental, and Misiones Orientales. Aftermath. One of the results of the war was that the Portuguese remained neutral when the American War of Independence became a global war in 1778 with the entry of the French. The Portuguese were bound to the British by treaty but disappointed by the lack of British support against Spain. Portugal did not itself enter the war.